Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Art and Outdoor Life here with John. So, today what I'm doing is it's kind of a tonalist approach, meaning using the tonal values inside of one or two different colors within themselves. So, here I'm using some burnt sienna, and I'll be using some raw umber and some Payne's Gray. And I was just thinking about this, and so bear with me. My first time ever trying this. Um, Trying to make a steamboat on the Mississippi River out of imagination here. Okay, so what I did first was I sprayed the whole paper down. This is 140 pound cold press, and I wetted it very well. So it's gonna be the reason why I put the boat in first is only because I was worried that if I put everything else in first, I might mess up the river, I guess you would say. I wetted it fairly well, and it's on an angle. So here I am, I'm trying to get the pedal in the back there, and this is going to be very interesting, so bear with me as I come along here. Now I'm just putting little dots in there for windows, trying to get an idea. Again, I'm trying to stick to only a few colors here for this entire painting. So on the top, I was thinking, okay, that's the very top of the ship here. And I wanted it to be kind of rustic, you know. And so here I'm trying to put like a little shadow in. Yeah, I wanted this to be a rustic feel. I'm not very good at tonalism, and it's something that I see people do, and I get fascinated by it. And so, and then on the top here with burnt or raw umber, I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put in some smokestacks there. I kind of want to get this boat done and out of the way before I go into the rest of the composition here. And the reason is, well, first of all, I didn't want to paint my boat over anything, okay? And the second reason is some of that water is actually drying, okay? Even though it might not be, it won't be completely dry, but some of it's going to be drying. And I kind of had this in my mind, okay? So I was like, well, as some of that paper is drying, I can get my boat out of the way, and then it might not be so wet, for the rest of the paper. So with some strong burnt sienna here, and the medium hake brush, this is a 9x12 paper here. I'm throwing in some background there. Give it an impression that, that there's some foliage in the back. Trying to shape my river a little bit here. I wasn't sure how I was going to exactly do the curve on this river. And looking back at it, I don't think I did a good job. But, it's a practice for me. And if you're practicing, I hope that you enjoy it yourself. Or just by viewing this. So, as you could tell with these tonal paintings, and if you watch any of them, watch Andrew Broussard. He's really good at it. Just watching how they, heavier shades, lighter shades, and then with watercolor as it fades, as the paint dries, it fades a little bit. So I kind of created a background there and a foreground, a very strong foreground. Um, the whole idea about this was to give it, to kind of give it that old feel rustic look. I mean, that's why I like these kind of paintings. I don't do many of them, okay? So here's the Payne's Gray, and I know some people who are into tonalism probably would have said, no, don't use that because, you know, and I was debating on using it myself, actually. My own Payne's Gray here. But I didn't want it sitting in white, and I didn't want to ruin the river with, different shades. Because, like I said, I'm new at this. I'm very new at this. That's the only reason why I put the Payne's Gray in there. I guess that's. But, it's something, it's fun. I had a good time doing this. You know, I mean, that's the whole point, right? You got to enjoy yourself. And believe me, I was inspired. I was thinking about this. This is one of those moments that came up in my mind, and I was like, I need to get in there and paint this before I forget about it, because I had it in my mind. Yeah, I could have written it down, but it's different when you're visualizing it in your mind. So here, and I used a little bit of black in here too, and some raw umber. So with that, I kind of creating like a hill effect, and just to get it more darker down to the riverside, and try to create different effects and shades to see where it takes me. So with the raw umber here, I'm going across the top of the ship there, and very lightly just touching up on the smokestacks there. Okay, and then the cloud, yeah, the smoke cloud kind of darkened up a little bit. And so here I'm just kind of fooling around, trying to put in some shade at the bottom there, different shades, and just working with it. These work really well if you're painting on a flat surface. In other words, if the paper is flat, laying down flat, because then the paint won't move downwards, right? So these could be very touchy, and so with some raw umber, I'm kind of just going through these windows, and believe me, I was tempted on painting that whole boat. Painting the whole boat and then putting in darker color windows, but I didn't, and that's okay. This is just a practice. So I mean, I got my boat in, and I'm looking around. I'm happy. So here, put the edge of the boat, kind of darkening up a little bit on the bottom there, and then I was looking at, I was thinking, okay, I know a lot of these boats have like that little rope on the top, or bar on the top that goes across. So if you're up on the deck, you can like hold on to the bar. So I kind of tried to put a bar in there, up on the top, and I didn't want to make this boat like coming to me or going from me or coming in sideways. I mean, that would have been a little bit meticulous to do here with the watercolor, and I'm just not good at that yet. So I'm just working with some ground, trying to figure out okay, what's going to work, what's not going to work. And here in the water, I was thinking, well, maybe, there's like a little trail there where the boat turned. But it doesn't really look like that happened, right? So I kind of tried to dab some of that out. Uh, yeah, I mean, that would have been a pretty big turn. These paintings are very fun to do. Um, so here with the card, what I'm doing is, and the paint's pretty dry by this time, okay? And there's no spraying it with the bottle here, um, because then it probably would have caught my boat, and my boat would have started dripping. So I'm scraping in on the side, trying to get like little buildings, like maybe there's a couple buildings off of the river there. And by this time the paint's really pretty dry, and it's hard to scrape when your paint's about all the way dry. So on the bottom though, I'm able to pull up some some tall grass or whatever, kind of give it a nature effect. On the bottom, I could have put some rocks in on the bottom, and I just wasn't thinking about it. So I'm just trying to make little tree shapes come out in the top there, like in a distant background. And they're coming along nicely. Excuse me, my nerves are kind of getting with me. Okay, so yeah, I'm just kind of putting in little trees there in the background, in the very back. Yeah, so that it's whoever, to give the impression that, yeah, there's a lot of forest. I mean, this is the mighty Mississippi, right? Or wherever. So I decided, because it was on pretty heavy on the left, I decided to just scrape it, right? See what I can get out of that. And that, you know, there's always, for me, there's always a part of a painting that I'm kind of not happy with at all. But I'll take what I can get. I'm not going to cry over it. I'm just happy to be doing this. And, so here I go again. I'm going to try this again, right? Okay. I want to give the impression that there are some buildings there. Maybe there's some cabins. Maybe that's the beginning of a little town. And, maybe a store or a couple houses on the riverfront there. Who knows? But I wanted to give that impression there. So I went in with some more paint, and I said, okay, well, let's see if I can just try to make some shapes here to try to maybe bring out the impression that, yeah, there are some stores here. There are some stores happening here. And I don't know if it really worked that well. I mean, everybody sees things in painting. And then I was like, over here, I'm going to create some hills. Try to make it look like the hill is coming down to the river on that side. And, and just kind of messing with the paint and everything. Anyways, I want to thank you for viewing. I really do. I really appreciate you guys for watching my videos. And, it's a new channel. And not even 3 months in yet. And I just share whatever I do with you guys. So I really appreciate that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to put a few birds up here. And then I'm going to sign my name. again, thank you for viewing. And if you like any of my videos and content and want to see my channel grow, please hit like and subscribe, and because I really appreciate it and it helps me out a lot. It does.